Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to the online learning initiative, children. Today we are going to see the organization structure. First, let us see what is an organization structure. This structure refers to the framework within which managerial and operating tasks are performed. If you take any organization, they will have a hierarchical structure of their designation. So that is called as organization structure. If you just see in the previous picture, it is very clear. Under CEO, we have the head of manager, production department, and the head of marketing department. Okay, and under this production manager, we have foremen or supervisory level managers, and it is for different units they have different foremen, like it is for fabrication unit, and this foreman is for assembling unit. And below, under this foreman, we will have many workers who are working. And same way, if you take marketing management manager, under him he'll have sales officers, and under each and every sales officer, they'll have different salesperson. So this is an example of organization structure. So this refers to the framework within which managerial and operating tasks are performed. What is the need to have such organization structure is, we need to function smoothly inside the organization, because everybody should know what is their work, and everybody should know to whom they are supposed to report, and everybody should know what is the scope of authority given to them. Okay, so only when they understand all these things, it will help in the smooth running of an organization. And not only that, we need to face many environmental changes, because we know business environment is dynamic, it is full of uncertainty. So to withstand the changes in the business environment, we need to have a proper team which knows what is the work to be done. Okay, so that is why we need organization structure. And this organization structure is not only for new organization, even for the existing organization, some new designations are added. So organization structure needs to be updated periodically. We need to analyze whether the workforce is sufficient, or whether we need any new designation to be introduced in our organization, and based on that we have to update our organization structure. Next, we'll see what are the types of organization structure we have. We have two types of organization structure. One is functional structure and the other one is divisional structure. Functional structure means when we group the activities together as one department. As we group, if we are going to group according to the nature of the work to be performed, then we call it as functional structure. Based on the functions performed by the employees, we are grouping this as one department. Like for example, all activities related to production will be grouped together and called as production department. All activity related to money and its transaction, buying or selling or anything, will be grouped together and it will be called as finance department. And all activities related to sales will be grouped together and it will be called as sales department. So likewise, the grouping of job based on its nature is called as functional structure. Okay, and this department will be given under the charge of an individual or the head of the department. Okay, and these people, the head of the department, will fall under middle level managers. So these are under every middle level manager. And the departments can be further divided into sections, like how we saw in the earlier example. Under production department, we had one separate section for assembling and the other section for um, processing, isn't it? So same way, a department can be further divided into different sections. And this type of functional structure is suitable for a large organization where we have different activities, diversified activities. And this large organization which has different types of work, Each and every individual who is doing the task should have a high degree of specialization. In that case, we can introduce this functional structure in the organization. Now we'll see the advantages of functional structure. The first advantage of functional structure is functional specialization, because when the person working in the production department is working in the production department itself for many years or throughout his or her service, then it means the person will be a specialist in the work what he or she would have been doing for a long time, isn't it? So this promotes that functional specialization, that is they will be a specialist in the work what they do. Okay, so that is called functional specialization. Next, effective control and coordination is possible if we follow functional structure, because we actually have segregated based on the work they perform, and all production related work will be together called as production department. So it is very easy to control and coordinate these people when they are working on a particular line of work or a particular nature of work. Okay, and this also improves efficiency. Expert and experienced officers only are appointed here in case of functional structure, and that's why it helps us to increase the managerial and operational efficiency. And moreover, in the first point itself, we have seen specialization. Functional specialization is possible when we follow functional structure. So, when an individual or when an employee is a specialist in doing his or her own job, definitely they are going to be having operational efficiency. We need to remind what is efficiency. Efficiency is achieving the target by reducing wastage. Okay, so that type of operational efficiency is achieved when we follow functional structure. And not only operational efficiency, even managerial efficiency is possible, because the foreman will be appointed on the basis of his experience. We know pretty well the senior most employee or the worker will only be appointed as a foreman. So in that case, that person will already be a specialist in the operational work. He would have achieved operational efficiency. And now when he is going to be promoted to a supervisory level manager, then definitely he will also be very efficient in his managerial skill. Okay, next, it avoids duplication. Each and every individual or employee will be assigned particular task to be performed. Okay, so this assigned duty will actually help the individuals to do their work, because each and every individual is assigned with some work and they know what is their work. So definitely duplication of work is avoided, and it is very easy to train people in under functional structure. For example, if any new person or a fresher is joining, we can put that fresher under an experienced candidate or an experienced worker in the unit, and he can guide the fresher on practical working skills. Okay, so it is very easy to give training to the new employees when we follow functional structure. Next, proper attention is given in case of functional structure. So proper attention actually means different functions are there related to the same type of work. Suppose if we take production, production doesn't mean only producing. It involves a lot of activities, like the raw materials has to be processed, then we have to just treat the raw material to bring it to a particular shape which we want, and then we need some other technical work to be done to mold it into a particular product, isn't it? And suppose if it is like automobile industry, we will get the spare parts manufactured from different organizations, and we have to assemble it together. So assembling unit also will be there. So likewise, as we divide the work according to the nature of the job performed, it is very easy to give attention to each and every work which is done, so we do not miss any activity in the organization or within the particular department, and that is why it is very easy to get things done effectively. Okay, so these are the advantages of functional structure. Next, moving on to the disadvantages. As a coin has two sides, when we have advantage, we will also have some disadvantages. The first disadvantage is functional empire. It is, as the people or as the employees are concentrating only on their work, on their department, they will give less emphasis or importance on the overall objective. So they will give more importance to their department work when compared to the organization's objective. I have completed my department's work. My department has achieved its goal. My department has shown this much turnover this year. So they will be always within that small circle of their own department, and they will give less importance to the overall objective or to the organization's goal. Okay, and that's why we say there is some sort of difficulty in coordination. So this difficulty in coordination is, we may have some problem when information has to be exchanged among the different departments. So one department might not be interested to say the information to the other department. So always it becomes difficult to coordinate different departments together. Okay. Next is difficult to hold accountable. So when the organization's goal is not achieved, we cannot question any particular department. Suppose if we say that 20% of the sales volume has to be increased for this year, then production manager will say that we have produced, we have done our, we have achieved our department's goal. So what is a great deal? I am not responsible for the sales volumes increase. Like that, a production manager may say, and finance manager may say that I have given the recommended price for the product, and I'm not responsible for the failure of the goal. Okay, then sales manager also will say, no, 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 we did not get the supply properly when there was when there was a demand in the market. Our team was working very effectively, but when there was a good demand in the market, the supply of the product was not that much. So I cannot take the responsibility for not achieving the target. This might be the answer from the marketing people, so, or the marketing manager. So it is very difficult to hold any department accountable when we follow functional structure. Okay, this is especially when the goal is not achieved. Next, conflict of interest. Interdepartmental departmental conflict is very common when functional structure is followed, because this may be arising especially when some money is allotted in the budget of the organization. Okay, so this conflict of interest is very common when we have this functional structure, because each department will concentrate only on their growth and only on achieving their target. So they'll be least bothered about the other department, and they will also give less emphasis to the overall objective, and that's why the responsibilities are not clearly separated among the departments. That's why conflict of interest is common. Next is inflexibility. Employee who gets trained on one function cannot be considered for promotion in the future as managers, because when we promote a person to the position of a manager, we would demand certain qualities from a manager. That is, the person should have an overall development, and the person should not have one particular skill. Okay, so in case of functional structure, an employee is going to work in the same department doing the same work for a number of years, and he is going to be a specialist only in that one function, specific function. So this person cannot be considered in the future to be promoted. Okay, so that's why people become inflexible, employees become inflexible when we follow functional structure. Next, we are going to see divisional structure, the second type of organization structure. Here, when the jobs related to one product are grouped under one department, we call as divisional structure. You would have seen many companies having different line of products like Hindustan Unilever, Procter and Gamble. These companies have different line of products under their own brand, isn't it? So when they classify the activities, or when they classify the department based on the product produced, then we call it as divisional structure. So this is suitable, as said, it is suitable for those companies who produce variety of line of products, and each department here, product wise we are going to call it as department. So each department will be under the head of a product manager, and each department will have multifunctional unit, whereas functions may vary according to division. So based on the line of products produced, the functions performed also will be different, and each division works as a profit center. In the earlier case, in the functional structure, the whole organization is a profit center, but here in case of divisional structure, each and every division is going to be a profit center. Now we'll see to which organization it is suitable. Divisional structure is suitable for those organization which produces variety of products or various line of products. Okay, and it is also suitable to those organization who plan to add more line of products in future. That is, at time they at now at present they may not be producing various line of product, but in future they will have a plan to introduce various lines of products. Okay, so first point, it is suitable for those organizations who are at present producing various line of products. Next, in future if they are planning to have different line of products, they can have divisional structure. And when it is very important to choose or to just estimate the profit and loss of a particular product, even then we can choose this divisional structure. So divisional structure is suitable in all these cases. Next, we are going to see the advantages of divisional structure. Under divisional structure, product specialization is possible. That is, the person who is working in a particular line of product will become a specialist in all the work, in doing all work related to that particular product. Okay, so this actually prepares them for higher position. These people can be considered for future promotion because they are specialists in one product, but under that one product they'll be able to do any type of work. Okay, next is greater accountability. As each and every department is a profit center, very easily we can measure the performance of these divisions. Okay, next, it is very flexible because an employee who is working within one line of product, he'll be ready to work in any place within that one unit itself. Okay, so that's why we say flexibility is at higher degree in case of divisional structure, and the person also will be very initiative, so that as he knows all type of work related to that particular division, he'll be fast in making decisions. Next is expansion and growth. This divisional structure facilitates expansion and diversification and growth also. Next is the disadvantages of divisional structure. We may have departmental conflicts in case of divisional structure, because when we allot fund through budget by the organization, when it is done, conflicts are possible in case of, I mean, among the departments. Here department means line of products. Okay, costly, this divisional structure is very costly because every division should maintain its own equipments, workforce, facility, etc., and this may lead to increase in the operating cost. Next is ignore organization's interest. Like how we saw in functional structure, they are concerned only about their own department. Even here, even though they work for one particular division, they will be concentrating on their own division only. Okay, and their complete focus will be on their product alone, and they will not think that it is for the whole organization. So they will be, their interest and focus will be completely on that line of product where they work. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of divisional structure. So children, today we have seen the types of structure, organization structure. Thank you, children.